You are listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast, a podcast by diehard fans for fans. Mark covers all things Penn State football and the Pittsburgh Steelers, as well as anything related to the sports and fitness world. Tune in weekly to listen to a couple of dedicated fans talk about these topics without filters. Thank you for listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast.
This is Joe Crispin, former Penn State and professional basketball player. You are listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast.
All right, everybody, welcome back in to another episode of the Mark Lesko Podcast. Joined by Brett Cable again tonight, talking Penn State football, talking the latest stories. So we got quite a few headlines that we're going to talk about, and we're just going to jump right into it. So throughout the day, kind of sending stories back and forth about stuff that's going on, and there's quite a bit of stuff that has happened, and I want to get your thoughts on some of the stuff that we already talked about in the past on previous shows, but stuff that's happened recently. So welcome in, man. How you doing?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, your camera's a little blurry. Maybe try putting your hand in front of it. I don't know if that would focus it or not. Yeah.
Got
like
a glare.
Yeah, it looks a little better.
It's like a It's got like a glare.
It might be the light too, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah, let me try 1 second here. Let me go back to the original one quick.
Yeah, take your time, man.
Here we go.
Let me see.
Pretty dark. That's pretty dark.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, we got I'm just gonna pull up the West Virginia thing first. The big
the defensive back.
Well, that guy too, but this is the Big Noon Kickoff story. So Big Noon Kickoff's going to be at WVU, Penn State, which is cool. So that's a good show. I definitely, I like College Game Day, but, it's just really fallen off, because it's ESPN. But and then Fox, they got some great guys on there. I don't know who all they have this year, but it's probably like Urban Meyer, Matt Leinart at least. I think last year Reggie Bush wasn't on it, but Mark Ingram was. So, they always have those, like, solid former players. Like, Brady Quinn, like, they have, like, every college football icon of our childhood on that show, which is pretty cool.
It's a good lineup for sure.
Yeah, so it's going to be WVU, Penn State versus West Virginia. And, it's just going to be – they hand out free Wendy's, which is cool.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The only downfall of the Big Noon Kickoff is it has ruined the Penn State whiteout.
Oh, yeah.
That's the big downfall.
It's
ruined it.
Yeah, that's something else we could talk about.
Yeah, like, a bunch of stuff, yeah.
Just like the Big Noon Kickoff and what it's done with everyone, all the big games. But, yeah, so Big Noon Kickoff coming to West Virginia for Penn State, West Virginia, and I've already given my bet out. I don't know if the line has moved at all, but you're going to take Penn State on the points and the over, so parlay that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's down to like 9.5 now. I think is what it was.
Is it really?
I think it was at like 10.5, and I went down a little bit maybe, but I just from what I've heard, I haven't really looked into it. West Virginia fans are very confident this year, which is great. That's good. It's good to have confidence, but I think they're getting a little ahead of themselves here.
Yeah.
It's going to be a dogfight. It's like James Franklin calls it the Hornets' Nest. He's played there. He knows what goes down in West Virginia.
8.5 now.
Yeah, you can burn a couch if you want it at 12:30, 1 o'clock, but it's not going to be as rowdy as it would be as a night game. So, I'm not in particular, I'm not super afraid of the 12 o'clock. If anything, that's the best time to play them. But at the same time, Penn State doesn't really play that great at 12 o'clock games. We have a history of not
No.
doing well. So, but I think they'll be ready for this one. I mean, I think, they have a whole new offense they're going to, run. They're getting set up, and it's going to take some time to polish that up. And it might be a few games to work out the kinks. But after West Virginia, you play high school teams. You play Bowling Green and Kent State. So,
Yep.
I mean, we should gut those teams. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not too worried about that. So,
Yeah, we definitely got to get through West Virginia. I mean, we talked about the fact that they need to get through West Virginia. We're going to learn a lot about them in week one, how the offense is going to look. So that's a big storyline. But it's something that is going to be a focal point, especially next week when we do pregame. How they're going to look on offense, because the offense is. The offense is, the difference this season between a playoff appearance and like a national championship run, and I think either way we make the playoff, but our offense is the difference between a good seed making a championship run and like a low seed and like getting knocked out for a second round. So the offense is the key to our season for sure. The defense is fine. I don't think they're going to step back much at all, but the offense last year, man, if we scored some points against Michigan and Ohio State, we win. It's that simple.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
We might even have given up less points because of the offense going 3 and out every series against Ohio State on the road. I mean, the defense gets no rest. So, that's one part about that. So, so we got we also got the guy from West Virginia who was talking crap, basically saying that we don't respect our opponents unless it's Ohio State or Michigan, and he played at Northwestern. But yeah, like you said, man, they're definitely jumping the gun a little bit here.
He was talking out of the side of his neck for I don't know. He was just there with he was doing an interview, and he got ahead of himself. I don't know. I mean, he was on Northwestern, and we played our worst games against them and still beat them by double digits. So I mean, I don't know what he's talking about. But yeah, the West Virginia game, they turned into a ground and pound team towards the end of the season. Like they went on a roll there. They did good at the end of their season. They have 2 good running backs. They kind of have the thunder and lightning like we do. They have a fast, speedy guy and a bigger dude. So I think it's going to be who wins in the trenches. That's what that game's going to come down to, and who has the better defense. Well, obviously we do. So I mean, I'm not worried. Like you said, I'm not worried about the defense. Yeah. We could play kind of sloppy. I mean, last year we played really good offense against West Virginia, but we left points on the board. 2 missed field goals in the first half. Like, that's 6 points right there. You know what I mean? So as long as we don't leave points on the board, we can handle them by double digits easily. So.
Yeah, we definitely didn't score as much as I would have liked to. I mean, they started out the game like super well. I think he threw one to Keandre, and then for a touchdown, it was like a great play. He was rolling out, threw it into like a bit of tight coverage because there was a guy right behind him. And then after that, you're like, oh man, what's that?
He stepped up in the pocket and let it rip. Yeah.
And after that, you're like, man, like he's got a great arm. He can move. That was a great play. That was a great pass. And then we scored like 38 points, which is, still a lot. But we didn't score another touchdown until the end of the game with Bo. So it's like I said, I got the Penn State covering the points and then the over, because I think we're going to win by. I think my line when I put in the bet was like 9.5. I think we're going to win by more than 10, obviously, and then I think we're going to win. I think the over is going to hit because I think we're going to, again, the offense. I'm optimistic about the offense. Like, are we going to come out and dominate? Or are we going to be slow? Like, I think we're going to maybe start a little slow, but if Kotelnicki runs his offense like I think he will, we're going to be running the ball down their throat, and then we're going to kill them in the pass game too. So it's going to be like, like 40-some to like 20-some maybe, or I don't know. I feel like it's going to be like 50-20, 50-17, like somewhere around there. So either way, the over's going to hit. But I think we put up points, and I don't think they're going to score much. So, and the fact that they're talking smack right now is like, where is it coming from? I mean, what'd you do last year? So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for like I said, for last year for West Virginia, they made a big jump from the year before. Neil Brown was on the hot seat before last year. Like he kept his job last year. That's all he did. He kept his job. He didn't get fired.
Yeah.
They also play in the Big 12, which that's not the same. It's not the same as the Big 10. Let's be honest here. But if Penn State even remotely plays, if their offense is even remotely like last year's game against West Virginia, they'll win.
Yeah.
I mean, and we didn't, like you said, we came out strong. We struggled a little bit. We could do that and still beat them. We might not cover, but Kolodnicki's going to come out with a wide zone, something I was looking into. He does the wide zone runs. So the offensive line's going to go the whole way to the left or the whole way to the right, and it's going to open a gap in the middle, and Singleton's going to be gone.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm looking forward to. Something I'm looking forward to for sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing about that too is like, I think with our O-line, as long as they stay healthy, and the way he runs, the offense, like he knows he's got two guys that literally both could be in a Heisman race, and he's just got to run them. I mean, Singleton.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, Singleton, for example, against Auburn, 22. That was insane what he did. I mean, I haven't seen running like that in so long. I mean, Saquon's breakaway speed wasn't the best. But Singleton, I mean, that one run he ran for like 50 yards. I mean, he goes towards the sideline. It doesn't look like he has an angle at all, and then but he's gone. It was crazy the way he played. It was just insane. His speed is insane. And then Catron, he's a north and south guy, so I think they're really got to use the rock to hit the ground game, and then because what the good teams are going to do is they're gonna put it in Drew Allar's hands because they know how he played last year. Like good teams like Ohio State, USC, Michigan, or not Michigan, but like Washington, like these good teams are going to try to put it in his hands. But if your run game is so dominant that you can't stop it, then it doesn't matter. And all it's going to do is open up the pass game. So
play action, yep.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that can happen with this offense, and again, I'm really optimistic about it. But we'll get into more detail next week with the pregame, like what we think is going to happen,
for sure,
matchups, stuff like that. So, I mean, are you excited about his offense?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he was one of the sneakiest, like a lot of people were saying, he's one of the sneakiest good hires of the offseason, like for anywhere, you know what I mean? Yeah. And the biggest difference that I've seen for me, Mike Yurcich was like very quiet. He looked pissed when you try to talk to him. Like whenever they would try to like interview him, he just like would seem pissed to be there. It's like Kolodnicki's the complete opposite. He seems happy to be there. He's happy to, you know what I'm saying? He's more outgoing. He's a better energy for the team. So, I mean, I think that's going to put confidence on the offense. Like, this guy's got our back. Not that Yurcich didn't try, but, like, come on. Like, I think the best interest for the team is somebody who's upbeat and who's going to try to instill confidence in these guys. And Kolodnicki showing that he can do that. Obviously, we haven't seen it down yet, but and then it's not going to be a completely new offense, but the way they do it's going to look completely different. That's what the biggest thing is. It might be some of the similar plays to what we did, like just in the last couple of years, but the motions and the shifts, like they're going to throw people off. They're going to bring out extra offensive linemen, kind of like Michigan does. They're going to do stuff like that. They're going to have just people moving all over the place. It's going to be nuts. So we'll have 2 running backs on the field. You'll have 2 quarterbacks on the field. Bo's actually going to be utilized this year. He wasn't last year ever. he was brought out for a couple plays or mop-up duty. That was it. He's going to be in the game plan. He's too athletic and too talented not to be on the field, and I already know that they're planning to use him. And they might even trick people and have him throw too, which we don't know how much he can throw yet, but I'm sure he's made some improvement in that. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think they're going to utilize more of their weapons. I mean, you said you saw him in the Yurcich in the gym. That's pretty funny. He probably looked the same. He probably looked pissed when he was in the gym too.
Yeah, he did.
Is he a big guy?
He's taller than you would think. Yeah, he's just tall and skinny. He's probably, what are you, 6'1"?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably 6'2", something around there. Yeah, he's a pretty tall guy. Yeah, he looked pissed. Yeah, he didn't. I don't know. I didn't. He looked at me a couple times just because I was like, all right, I'm up. Because when I first saw him, I was like, is that your six? Like, what's he doing here still? But I guess he helped out for one of the Elite 11 camps or one of the Penn State camps at what was it? It was at State High Field when Beckham Kritza and some
Grunkmeyer.
yeah. So when people came up, some players came up at the State High Field over the summer. He actually was there helping out. So who knows what he's doing right now? It's not like he needs to work right now. He's got money, but I'm sure he's itching to get back in the game at some point.
Dude, if I was him, I would like try to get hired at like Central Dauphin or State High or Altoona and just dominate, win a state title, and then go back. You know, just have fun. It's high school, man. Yeah. It's completely different, you know.
He can go to G5. I mean, he would kill G5. I mean, I think he could go like Cincinnati or, you know, whoever needs. No, Cincinnati probably doesn't need help, but whoever needs help, that's a decent team. You know, Memphis or somebody like that who's a good program.
Yeah, like that's the thing about it is with him, like it didn't work out obviously, and it was pretty bad, but he's still a good coach. I think like he could go on and like coach somewhere else, but you know, at the end of the day, man, like we're gonna see how this offense goes, and you know, I'm excited about it, and I'm really optimistic about it. Like I think we're gonna see our weapons, and I think, dude, I knock on wood, man. I think we're gonna see at least one guy off on our team in the Heisman ceremony this year. I know that's very optimistic, and I really, really hope. All I want to see, dude, is a dominating offense. That's all I want to see. Like 2016, 17, 08, 05. Like 08 in particular, that offense was so fun to watch because Darryl Clark was like something out of this world when he played, man. Like one of my favorite players of all time at Penn State. The way he carried himself, the way he executed the offense. I mean, he just looked good, man. You know, he just carried himself well.
Very talented.
Oh, very, and his mechanics were perfect. I mean, God, he was awesome.
He was like a not to put him up to Michael Vick, but he was kind of like a Michael Vick in a way. I mean, he could run, he could do it all.
He made it look easy.
So
all of it.
Yeah.
And another thing I want to say too, and I've said this before, but you know, I think you're a James Franklin fan too. You know, like I'm not the biggest Franklin fan, but I think you're kind of in the same boat where like, you know, that we haven't really beat the teams that we should, or that the teams that maybe we shouldn't beat, but we should still be winning at least consistently. And no one beat Ohio State consistently. Joe didn't. Bill O'Brien didn't. They didn't beat Michigan consistently. Joe's record against the Bear Bryant was like 4-8. So it's like one of those things where Joe did the same stuff, but he had 2 national titles and he's the winningest coach of all time. Like, but you know, at the same time, like the way Franklin carries himself, his demeanor, you know, the way, you know, he always looks just on point. He's a very energetic. He carries himself well. You know, he just always.
He's a really good dude.
Yeah, he just really he's a head coach, man. He's a good representation as a head coach. Like, you can tell, like all this talent we have, all the changes that are coming, the renovations, like the coordinators he's had. 99% good coordinators that he's had.
Yep.
I mean, you can tell, like, the guy, he said it in his opening press conference when he got here. He said, I don't get a lot of sleep. I don't sleep a lot. I'm required to get a lot of sleep. Like, just the way he carries himself, man. He's very upbeat. Yep. He's just a very good representation of Penn State. You know what I mean? Like, for what he has to do at Penn State with the sanctions and the fines that we paid and like the being behind for us on NIL, like Matt from Penn State Jersey said, we're behind for Penn State. And you know, it's just, I think there's a lot of good that a lot of people don't give him credit for. Now, again, I'm not the biggest Franklin fan because I feel like there's been a lot of times where we should have won and we didn't. But for everything that we've gone through and for everything that's been accomplished since he was the head coach, I mean, besides like obvious names like Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, Urban Meyer, like who else do you want coaching your team? Honestly.
Well, that's what I've commented. Like people are like, there's thousands of people who are like, fire Franklin, fire. I'm like, you can't. First off, find somebody who you think's going to be better than him. Then answer me. I'll wait. You know what I'm saying? And then they would have to want to work at Penn State. And are they a good represent? Like you said, do they represent Penn State well? They might, but James Franklin is the best guy for the job representing Penn State. Now he needs to get over the hump, and he says it. He knows it. He probably feels it inside, and more than people tell him. Like he knows himself what has to happen, and he needs to beat the big teams. But right now there's nobody out there who's going to replace him, who's going to do a better job. It's just not. There's nobody out there for it.
No. And like, are you real? And here's the thing: like Ohio State, I call them an extremely delusional fan base. They're very arrogant. Like they don't. I just don't like. I respect Ohio State as a program, but their fans are just like they don't realize how close we were, to getting Urban Meyer. Like he had a house here in State College. Okay, like the guy wanted to coach here at Penn State, and they got lucky when the scandal happened. He went to Ohio State, so it's like we could have Ryan Day as our coach right now.
Yeah.
My point is, like, if you don't want Franklin, who do you want?
Yeah.
And they want like a Nick Saban or an Urban Meyer or like a Kirby Smart, and it's like you do know
They're not coming.
like that's very hard to do, and like coaches like that don't grow on trees. I mean, there's a reason there's Joe Paterno, Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, Nick Saban. Like there's a reason there's guys like that because they're very far and few in between. So
and it comes down to the resources.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
James Franklin's been saying, now he has the yes men or the yes women, the Dr. Benaputi, however you pronounce her name.
Yeah, Benaputi.
The president. They're saying yes to everything now. They weren't doing that for Franklin before. That's why it's taken time to build a dynasty. That's how you do it. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why they hired Barber, man. She was awful.
She was very bad. Yeah, not good. And the biggest thing, I think we might have talked about it, but how much money Ohio State spent through the portal and just to keep players on the team, millions of dollars.
20 mil.
They have the resources. Penn State does not have the same resources. They're getting better, and that can transition into the donation.
Yeah. That's another thing about it too, man, is like the fact that you've got Pat Kraft, very involved AD, Ben DePuty, who, she may not be my favorite pick, but she's a businesswoman. I know that. And she's definitely like business oriented.
She's doing her thing.
Yeah. And, so far, I mean, especially with Pat Kraft, I think Pat Kraft has been awesome, but,
it's been great.
Like Ben DePuty, I in terms of the success of the school and the sports, I mean, I have nothing bad to say about her.
No.
But there's a lot of things that are going Franklin's way, and it's just he like I've said before, like he's a very real, like he speaks very realistically. Like after a game, he'll say, "Well, we had this penalty, that was a bad call, someone got hurt, bad pass here." And a lot of people take that as like he's making excuses, but he's really not. He just speaks factually. Like, he just speaks factually about stuff that happens.
If it's a close game, there's a couple plays that define the game. And if they didn't go your way, execution on those that didn't happen, that's why you lost.
Now, right. Like, I don't always like that he speaks factually like that. Like, I just want to say, like, we lost. As a head coach, I need to do better, and that's it. But that's just not really his style. I don't take it as excuses, but like in 2018 when they lost to Ohio State, I got pretty mad when he said, like, we're great, but we're not elite. I'm just like, dude, the play call at the end was horrendous, and you screwed
that
it.
was a cover up. He was speaking out of emotion, so that's
yeah. And the O coordinator blew that game. There's no reason on earth we shouldn't have won that game. We should have won that game. That's it. And they had the emotion of Mark Allen being hurt. That's why the running back, why can't I remember his name? Not Saquon, but Miles Sanders is wearing number 8. And I knew Mark Allen when he was in school. He was hilarious. But he's a character for sure. But
he was underrated too. He was good.
Yeah.
He just had so much talent. He was good.
Yeah, dude. He was You remember who I'm talking about? Mark Allen, number 8.
Yeah.
So, he was a character, but like they just blew it. But like I understand where a lot of the criticism comes from, and I've always said it too, man. Like, I have wondered sometimes what people's motives are when they're talking about Franklin, and I think a lot of it is they're used to a Joe Paterno or a Bill O'Brien or just like these, just like Joe, like you can't replicate Joe Paterno. You know what I mean?
No, you can't.
And I've always sensed that there's just a bit of like underlying hatred towards Franklin for whatever reason. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. Like there's just like this. There's just like this thing that they want to point the finger at him, and like I don't always understand exactly what that is. I don't know if it's because like he really wasn't a long-time college coach before that, or if he didn't really have a winning program before he came to Penn State. He was a Vanderbilt. I mean, I don't know how you win at Vanderbilt in the SEC, but there's just always been this thing about him that people seem to like just they want to point the finger at him, and like I said, I think some of it is the fact that that he speaks factually, but
and he can be kind of calculated too because he doesn't want to give too much, and sometimes he does it to help Penn State. Like if they're asking questions about something, he doesn't want to give too much for other teams to look into. Like asking about the offense this whole offseason, he's not going to tell you too much about the new offense because it's supposed to be a secret. They're trying to, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, it's annoying sometimes that he doesn't speak up more about it, and he's more just like bare minimum on his answers sometimes, but he's doing it to help his team. So I mean, I get both ends. It's a double-edged sword. So
yeah. But at the end of the day, man, like he's doing. I'm just really optimistic about this season. He's done a lot this offseason. He got a 5-star receiver in Julian Fleming, who should have come here in the first place. And he's coming from Ohio State, where he played with like literally every NFL receiver. Like every receiver he played with is in the NFL now or going to the NFL.
5-star cornerback.
Yeah.
AJ Harris.
Exactly. AJ. We got Elliot Robinson. And we got Tony Rojas. We got Cam Miller. We got Sakeem Wheatley. We got
KJ Winston's
KJ Winston.
He's gonna be nuts this year.
We got Trey Wallace on the offensive side. We got Fleming. We got Clifford.
They're saying Liam Clifford is going crazy.
Yeah. He's
legit. They're putting him at number 2 right now. They're calling him number 2.
Wow. Okay, number 2. Okay. And then we got Cade Saunders. And then we got the depth of running back. I mean, I want to see Cam Wallace run the ball.
He's going to.
And then our offensive line, dude. Like, it's insane what we got on the offensive line. We got 2 5-star guys as backups right now. And Cooper Cousins, who's pretty much a 5-star guy, he's a backup too. And he's going to see time this year.
Franklin was just saying at the after practice the other day. He said, "If I would have put." What's that?
He said it was kind of weird. He's out there in the field by himself, doing passes.
For Cooper Cousins.
Yeah.
He said it's kind of weird. He's funny too sometimes. That's something you got to give him credit for. But no, he was saying if I had to put a number 3 running back right now, it would be Cam Wallace. He said there's still a few weeks, but as of right now. But he said Corey Smith, the new freshman that just came in for the summer, he was saying that he's flashing too, and he just got here. So Corey Smith is kind of like a Quentin Martin. He can run and catch the ball. So all of our guys are going to be able to catch the ball in the backfield and get in space. And I can't wait to watch it. Like you said, like I'm hyped. I'm ready to go for it.
Yeah, it's Cooper Cousins. Like I was at the elite showcase last summer because my cousin was there. And by the way, I don't know if I told you this, but my cousin, he's going to be a sophomore, and he ran a 4.40 at that camp. And
wow.
Yeah, he's like 6 foot tall. He's like 170, 180 pounds. He's a sophomore. He ran a 4.4, and when he was at that camp, and dude, this doesn't happen. Trust me, because I've been to tons of camps. I've been to like probably in my high school career, probably been to like 10, 15 camps.
Oh wow!
And Franklin was standing there at his 40 time, like standing there, and he's like rubbernecking it, watching him go by, and I'm like, and I told he's my cousin's son, and I told him I'm like, dude, head coaches don't do that, they don't just stand there and watch guys like that, which is cool, but I saw Cooper Cousins at the camp, and he walked right by me, and I thought, man, like. He's like not that big, but he's definitely strong, and he's probably gotten bigger. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's big now. Yeah.
But sometimes we forget like these big time recruits. If you see them in person, you're like they just look like a high school kid. But
yeah.
And they are, but they just got
then
like
they get Chuck Losey.
Yeah, and they just got and they just got ungodly strength, and they're like freaks of nature with athleticism. But I'm definitely excited for him too. But. Talk about a good time to start a football game on NCAA too, man. Our roster is absolutely stacked.
Oh yeah.
But for me, like we're kind of going off on a rant at this point, but the bar for me for Aller in particular, dude, is he's a first round pick. That's my bar for him. I don't know if he'll ever live up to that, but dude, I mean, my God,
this is the year.
And Justin King and Tom Hannafin were talking about it on State of State. They said. Peyton Manning had a bad freshman year too, and they were like, oh, imagine like a 18-year-old had to grow and become better as a first-year starter, And they went 10-2.
Funny because it's true.
Yeah, it is true, and like they went 10-2. They put up point like you just said the other day. They put up like 50 points on Michigan State. They put up 60 on Delaware. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I'm used to as a Penn State fan is putting up points on teams that are inferior. That's what Joe did.
55 on Maryland or something at Maryland. That was probably their best game. Yep. That was probably their best game against Maryland.
Is officially little brother. It was Rutgers, 100%. But Rutgers is the redheaded stepchild,
Rutgers is making improvements compared to Maryland. Rutgers could probably gut Maryland right now. They got Kyle Monangai, their running back, led the Big Ten with rushing last year. He's good.
Well, another thing too, man, is like the rich get richer. Ohio State, they got Quinshon Junkins.
Yeah.
They got freaking Caleb Downs. They got the number one receiver in this class and the number one receiver in next class, and they got Julian Sayin. It's like, it's unbelievable what they do, man. You got to respect it at least,
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, it's annoying. It's getting annoying at this point. It is. Stopped.
It is annoying.
Yeah.
But
it's getting really annoying.
And I've said it before, and I'll say it again, man. Just being brutally honest, like when I was in high school, I always said if I was a big time recruit, where I would have went to play? Ohio State. I went to Ohio State football camp, and Jim Tressel, he came around and talked to all the kids. There's a picture. My sister was like, she's 19 now, but she was probably like 2 or 3 at the time. Mm-hmm. There's a picture of my sister being held by Jim Tressel, and he's sitting there. He's just standing there, like, smiling. It's great, like, wearing his vest, his sweater vest. He was such a nice guy, Jim Tressel. He's the man. Yeah. But he has a podcast, too. But,
does he?
Yeah, he interviewed A.J. Hawk. I watched that episode. Yeah, so, like, on to the next story, Gabe, 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
Penn State Athletics announces a $10 million donation. So we're up to $35 million now in donations. We talked about it on the show before. when are the alumni going to come out and start donating more money? Okay?
Yep.
So we got another $10 million donation. The previous one was 25, the second largest in athletics history behind Pagola for the ice rink. But Pat Kraft said this gift is a unique symbol of deep commitment to a significant priority. We are so thankful to have support we've received in the early stages of fundraising for this project. And here's the thing about this too. When you donate money to football, when you donate money to Beaver Stadium, you're donating money to every program there because football builds pretty much every school that there is. And, Ben DePuty said they're grateful and stuff like that. I mean, you got to understand, like, when you support football at Penn State in particular, and like 90% of schools in America, you're supporting the school. You're supporting every program there. If you donate money to Beaver Stadium, that means you're going to make more money, probably have more success, which means it's more money for every other team there. Like, if it weren't for football at most schools, you would still have incredible athletes, but you're not going to have as much renovated facilities like Jeffrey Field's getting. You're not going to have as many NIL dollars. I mean, at this point, you know what I mean? Like, you got to support football, and that's what alumni are doing now, and it's good to see. They should. I don't know what's changed all of a sudden. We just talked about it recently on here.
Took some time.
Yeah, like, I don't know what took so long, but they seem to be doing it now, and I don't know why, but it's like they must be optimistic, because just think about that amount of money, dude. $10 million, $25 million. You know how much money that is to just give away?
Yeah.
That's insane. That's an insane amount of money, So, it's good to see.
Yeah, I'm thrilled about it. I'm glad that you brought up the $10 million because I saw the 25 that happened a few weeks back or whatever. Hopefully they're catching some traction here, man. Hopefully they can go on a roll here. I doubt they're going to get another 25 or another 10 anytime soon, but if we can get another million and just keep building it, they'll be able to sustain a good roster and get guys out of the transfer portal.
Yeah,
but I think most of that is going towards the renovation for the stadium, though, right?
Yeah,
That's
but
what it made it sound like.
Yeah, it's going towards the stadium, but like less money out of Penn State's pocket and our pocket as ticket sales.
Which could go to the team.
$35 million out of $700 million, like that's a lot. And the less money we pay, because it's ticket sales and all that, the less money we pay, the more money that's going to be left on the table for NIL, for, whatever you need. That's a lot of money, $35 million. So it's going to be more money to put into hopefully the NIL pool, stuff like that.
I know some fans are still ticked off because once the stadium is renovated, we're going to lose a couple thousand seats, so we're not going to be the second largest stadium. We're still going to be over 100,000.
Yeah, which is insane.
And it's going to look insane. I mean, at least what they drew up looks incredible. I mean, if it even looks remotely like that, we'll be blessed to be a Penn State fan, man, and to go to games and just how new and the new look of it. The classic look of it's nice now, but it needs to be winterized. It needs updates. The bathrooms, concessions, they need to be updated immediately, and it's happening. So it's good to see.
Do you go to games?
Yeah, I mean, I usually go to one or two a year. Last year I went to West Virginia and the Michigan game. Yep. I went to the Michigan game for free. My buddy had tickets, and that was probably like $400, $300 or $400 tickets, but not the best game to go to. It wasn't a good bus ride home.
No, definitely not.
But yeah, the West Virginia game was fun. It was really good.
But
you go to games at all?
No, dude, I haven't been to a game. When was the last time I was at a game? 2021. It was 2021. It was when Indiana came to Beaver Stadium. Penix was still there. We beat them 21-0 or something.
When we had that
was the year that the running back room was atrocious. It was Noah Kane and
we had Kayvon Lee. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to that game too, I think.
Dude, and here's another thing. Here's another thing too. Yeah, my buddy had his season tickets. We all went. It was fun. But Noah Kane, after he transferred to LSU, he was in my gym, and I saw him there, and it was funny because he was wearing a mask, and I'm like, dude, first of all, you're working out. Why are you wearing a mask? But anyway, that's a story for a different day. But
yeah, I
saw him there, and I'm like, man, like, he just looked like another guy. Like, this guy is a running back for Penn State. I mean, he just looked. I'm not insulting him. It's just I'm like, this guy just looks like another guy. You know.
Unless you're Saquon Barkley, you can tell he looks different.
Absolutely. He
His
was a
quads
freak.
and arms. Yeah.
He was a freak of nature, man. Like Bo. He was like Bo Jackson. That's the best comparison you can give to him. He was a mix between Bo Jackson and like Reggie Bush. He was basically those two combined, which is insane. But and then recruiting. Do you want to talk about recruiting?
Yeah, I can talk some.
Brett, okay. So we'll just jump into that. We'll jump into some recruiting.
Okay. So we'll jump into. So 2025 is our class that's pretty much almost done. Right now if you look at the industry rankings, we're like 16th, which is fine. That's what we've kind of been most years. We're within the 15 range. We had some misses. Pennsylvania was a problem this year. That's the first time I've seen that ever, really, like not getting the top guys. But that's because of NIL, and that's like what's his name? The receiver. I'm drawing a blank. The receiver we should have got out of PA. He was out of. He went to South Carolina.
Recently?
You know,
yeah.
He went to South Carolina. That didn't make any sense.
If I look through our conversation, I'll get it. But
yeah, I'll figure it out. But we should have had him. Oh, Lex Cyrus. That's who.
Yep.
We should have had Lex Cyrus. It was one of those. It was one of those guys. You're like, he's committing to Penn State. He's just taking too long. And the longer it went on, the more worried most people were getting. It's like he should have committed by now. South Carolina came on strong. Obviously dropped the bag. Taz Williams, we thought we had him. There was a lot of word we were getting Taz Williams, and then he does his commitment live. His top four. Penn State was in the top four with Michigan and Texas A&M and who was the other team? SMU. And then all of a sudden he pulls out a Baylor hat, not even in the top four, and just puts Baylor has shirts saying we pay players. So
money.
He got a bag.
Just like that dude that went to Missouri. I don't remember.
Matt Zollers.
Yeah, dude. Like you're going to. Yeah. Why are you going to Missouri? Money.
I mean, they're getting better, but they paid. So we had some unfortunate things, but none of them were Penn State's fault. That's what it comes down to. Penn State has one of the best recruiting staffs in the country. They might not finish in the top 5 every year, but their recruiting staff is phenomenal. And so what I've seen for 2026 now, we're not done in 2025 yet. We're still trying to flip Zaire Mathis from Ohio State. I just got word that they're trying to get a JUCO linebacker. He's like a linebacker, defensive end. He could probably play either or. He's a JUCO. I think he was a freshman last year in JUCO. He's out of where at? California. I just heard this today. He's out of California.
Is this through your sources?
No, this was actually through. This was from Sean Fitz.
Okay.
Sean Fitz was saying they're looking into him. So he has plenty of eligibility left. I mean, obviously, since Max Granville reclassified to 2024, he's already on campus, and he's, 16 years old?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So now they can get this JUCO guy.
He's literally a senior right now in high school.
Yeah, exactly. You know? It's nuts. So they might get a JUCO guy, or they're going after him from California. They're still going to try to flip some receivers. You know, they're not going to stop. Do I see them landing another one? Not really sure. Probably not. But they'll work the portal. They'll do what they can, see if they can get somebody. Moving on to 2025, 2025 though, no, 2026. They're ranked second in the country right now. They're off to a hot start. They got the number seven quarterback out of California. They got
Yep.
Messiah Mickens, a running back, number one running back in PA, number one player in PA. They got two speedster receivers, one from Delaware, one from Maryland. Rogers runs a 4.3. So they got some speed. Right now they're looking at speed. That guy could be a high 4-star by the time we're done with him, or by the time he's done with high school. So yeah, 2026 is off to a hot start. 2027 they got a running back. Did you see that? Kevin Spell.
Yep. Kavion Spell. Is it Kavion? Kamon Spell?
It's just Kemen or Kemon.
Kevin Spell.
It's just Kemon. Yeah, Kemon.
Kamon Spell. Yeah, Kamon. I think.
He was just the rankings just were updated by On3. He's the number 7 player in the country. It's 2027, so it'll change. But number 1 running back in the whole country.
Yeah. You remember we were talking about how I'm like, how did they get that guy already? And I kind of knew, I know why they did, because he's probably going to be the number 1 running back in the country, and he is.
Yep.
And I doubt that's going to change. So the only thing I think that's going to change about him is that he moves up in the national rankings. I think he's going to remain the number 1 running back in the country. Dude, just imagine it. He's going to his sophomore year, and he's the number 1 running back in his class. You know how good you have to be to do that? That's the same year as my cousin. He's a sophomore.
He's already 5'10", 195.
Yeah, dude, he's 15 years old? He can't even drive yet.
15? No. It's nuts, but Jaywan Sider, man, one of the best recruiters in the nation. Dude's a beast.
He is.
Jaywan Sider. And then you got Terry Smith. He's killing it. So recruiting is off to a hot start. They're getting those PA guys now. They got Kevin Brown from Pennsylvania. He's going to be a 5-star offensive tackle. He's already a high 4-star. There's a video of him jumping out of the pole onto the. Did you see that?
No, I don't think so.
He's 16 years old. He's standing in the shallow end, right? He just stand there, just pulls his body, just jumps out of the pole onto the ledge.
Yeah, it's hard. That's very hard to do.
Who does that? Yeah, his body control and strength for that is at that age.
Who was it?
You're a freak.
Who did it?
Huh? Kevin Brown. He's the offensive tackle we just got for 2026.
He's an offensive tackle too. That's ridiculous.
He's at the same high school Michael Parsons came from in Harrisburg.
You know who the only other person I've ever seen do that is Brad Martin, the bodybuilder.
Yeah. Oh, Bradley Martin, that's wild. He can do that.
Yeah, so that was one of his first videos that made him go famous, was jumping out of a pole.
That's crazy.
I don't know if any of you listening have ever tried to do that. I don't know if you have to try to do that, but it's really, really, really hard.
Yeah, I can never even picture trying.
And I lift 4 days a week. So
yeah. That's nuts. So yeah, recruiting's off to a hot start. I think this 2026 class, they already got 6 or 7 commits. We could finish top 5. If we get, just think about it. Good players want to play with good players. We got a top 7 quarterback, a top 5 running back, Messiah Mickens, or top 7, whatever it is. We already got 2 speedster receivers. People are going to top offensive linemen. Good players recruit good players, and that's what they're going to do. I mean, we're going to finish top 5. Mark my words. For the 2026 class.
That'd be awesome. We got a good start to 27 too. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brett, I'm gonna pull up. So we got. Let me see what else we got. So we'll do TD Kings, but there's this other thing I wanted to. And that Kirk Ferentz thing was pretty funny.
That was hilarious.
It said, Iowa coach Kirk Ferentz. I can't see it. It said, Iowa coach Kirk Ferentz, assistant received 1 game suspensions for recruiting violation.
Mm-hmm.
And all college football said, I find it very hard to believe Kirk Ferentz is capable of committing an offense, an offense.
It was a funny. It was the comment of the year, like because
It was.
it's just like
It's
if you
pretty funny.
know football, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen,
It's very funny.
and true. So
But yeah, there's this other thing. I don't know if I sent you that. I sent you it. I don't know if you saw it or not. But so we got a picture of photo day pics for Penn State, and this one thing I thought was hilarious that they did. They did our wide receiver coach dirty when they put this up.
oh, I haven't seen those.
It's Hagens, right? Hagens.
Oh, they did Hagen's dirty.
Oh, dude, they did him so dirty. All right,
It
so
was like,
I'm showing it right now on screen. But they have the quarterback room. They got that one dude, Jack Lambert, named after the great Jack Lambert of, and then Katron. They call him Big Fat. I don't know why they call him that, but
they call him Fat Man. Yeah, Fat Man.
dude, he's hilarious, man.
Well, because when he showed up to college, he was like he was chubby, man. He cut like 20 pounds his freshman season. He was like skinny.
Dude, I feel
He
like
lost almost too much weight and put it back on in muscle.
Dude, like that one interview they did where they were like, "Who would you not want your sister to date?" And everyone said Katron. He's just like, "Why'd they say me?"
Yeah.
And here's another guy, Quentin Martin. We forget about him, Quentin Martin. He's oh my god, dude, he's another one. And then we got so I just wanted to show the wide receiver picture. They got Anthony Ivy.
Where's
No.
it shown?
Dude, they're showing okay, so they got analyst Mark Dupuis, who's like decently tall. They got Ethan Black, Liam Clifford, Peter Gonzalez, and then they got Marquise Higgins. He's like half the size of all of them. They got Peter Gonzalez and Julian Fleming to his left and his right. He just looks so short. It's funny that they put him in there. I thought that was hilarious. But and then the tight end room is
like 5'11" or 6 foot, but yeah, compared to them.
Compared to them, he's very short. And then you got in the tight end room, you got Joey Schlafer, who I think is a 4 or 5 star guy. Got Luke Reynolds with the
he's a 5-star.
yeah, with the Patrick Swayze haircut. And then you got Rappelier, who's like another 4 or 5 star guy. Yep. Jerry Cross, who's a 4 or 5 star guy. Khalil Dinkins, I think he's a 4 or 5 star guy too. That tight end room is the best in the country. I'm just gonna go out and say that.
Oh, it's nuts.
But
it's crazy.
But yeah, man. So we got TD Kings. Is that on Instagram?
Yeah, it was off of Penn State's page. Drew Aller and Luke Reynolds, man. It's good to see both of them on there. For a true freshman to be a TD King in camp, man.
I know.
That's crazy.
Was that on Penn State football page?
Yep, Penn State football page.
All right, I'm gonna pull that up. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that? When I first saw the TD Kings being Drew Aller and Luke Reynolds, I was like, holy crap! That's very impressive that he's a TD King, you know.
I mean, it's good news for Aller because that means, he's making plays, man. And then for Luke Reynolds to surpass like Trey Wallace and like Liam Clifford or Julian Fleming, the guys who were going to start, that's crazy. I mean, Luke Reynolds right now is just like a big receiver. He's putting on weight, but he already gained like 20 pounds, and like, he probably runs a 4.5 for a tight end, which is just stupid. Like that shouldn't happen, you know.
Yeah,
he's got incredible hands. Route running's already really good. Yeah, I'm pumped. I mean, Franklin already said Luke Reynolds is going to play this year. It just matters how many games. He could play 4. He could play a couple in the offseason because the postseason games don't count. So if you go into the playoff, you could play him if you wanted to. It wouldn't even count towards a red shirt. So yeah, I mean, Franklin already said that Luke Reynolds is going to be a really good football player. He already sees it, so that's good news. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's very. there's a lot of optimism there, man. Um, you got Drew Aller and Luke Reynolds, and then on defense you got, usual suspects: Cam Miller, Zakee Wheatley,
Yep. Colin Dinkins.
yeah, Colin Dinkins, and DeJuan Lane. Yep. So
Yep.
it's good to see.
DeJuan Lane is a true freshman. He's a true freshman from Maryland.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's really good to see. He's fast. Colin Dinkins is a walk-on. He's Khalil Dinkins' brother.
Yeah.
Younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
So that's.
Yep.
He might earn a scholarship. Let's see it.
Yeah, and
something happened. I don't know if you know. They moved. God. The
moved
safety
Micah
from
Parsons,
Alabama.
running back.
No. No, they moved the safety. He's from Alabama.
Yep.
They moved him to linebacker just a couple days ago. That you saw that.
Yeah. And I said this before. King Mack, when we lost him, that really hit me in the heart because I really liked him.
Yeah, I liked him too. Let me try to find who this was. He's number 8. He's a safety. He was a true freshman last year.
Moved him to linebacker. Well, we do need some linebacker depth.
That's why they did it. And he's
especially-
he's 6'3", 215 already.
Yeah,
So he's got the length.
We lost Kavion Keys, which sucks. But
yeah, that's a whole other.
yeah, I was going to ask you about that too. We're already an hour in. I don't know how long you want to go, but we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we might have to split it.
Who was that they moved? I did see. I can't remember who they moved.
I'm looking it up now.
But,
I know who it is. I just can't think at the top of my head right now who it was. It's and he's gonna be good. Second.
Dakari Nelson.
Yes, Dakari Nelson. I couldn't think of it.
Yeah,
Dakari Nelson is now a linebacker. He's 6'3", 215 or whatever. He has to put on a couple pounds, but
Yeah.
think
Put
about
on
it. He
like
already knows
15
how.
pounds.
He already knows how to cover. He's a safety. So you put him as like the line position or an outside linebacker, he could be really good.
Well, a guy I know was at that family day or whatever, where you could take your family to the practice and you got pictures and stuff. You got like the schedule, and I saw this picture of Kobe King, dude.
He's jacked.
Oh my, he's massive. He's unbelievably
He's
massive.
He's got crazy genetics.
These guys are putting on weight, man.
Kobe King's 250 as a middle linebacker.
He's huge.
And then Abdul Carter put on 10 pounds, I think. He's up to like 260.
And then
6'3".
and then you got Tony Rojas. He put on like what, 25 pounds or something like that. Dude, our weight room is unbelievable. It's unbelievable what they're doing.
Do you know who we need to talk about? Defensive end. He was hurt for multiple years. The last time he played was in the 2021 Outback Bowl. He had 3 sacks.
He's back now?
What's that?
He's back now?
He's still on the team. Yeah, he's good to play now. I think he missed a year for behavior or something.
Hakeem Beamon?
No, defensive end. Here, 1 second. I'll find it.
Yeah, take your time.
So hard to think of all these people on top of your head.
Yeah. There's so many guys.
Especially for so many guys. It's Smith Vilbert. Smith Vilbert is going to play this year. Now he's like number probably 3 or 4 in the depth chart because of
he's 3 right
Camille
now.
Lyons leaving. Yeah. So he is 6'6" or 6. He's like 6'6", 294. he's going to play inside and outside at that size. I mean, that's huge. 6'6", 294. The
As a
last time he
DN.
played, he was like, yeah, last time he played, he was like 260 or something, 265. He's 294. He put on 30 pounds.
The thing about him, I think he's the guy last year that got hurt in preseason, right?
No, he was hurt all year last year. I think in 2022, because of it was either academics or behavioral something. They never announced it. He missed the whole season because of that, and then he got hurt. So it's like he had 2 bad years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a 6-year senior right now. He has 2 more years of eligibility though because of the injury and all that.
Yeah.
So that's like a hidden weapon. I mean, James Franklin said everybody loves him on the team. They say he's going to do some nice things this season, and he's been looking really good. So we'll see.
Now, didn't we lose a guy this early offseason too? We lost a guy this year too, right? I can't remember.
Yeah, we lost, and he was going to have a good year. Zariah Fisher, man, he was just hurt 2 years ago. Came back last year, looked pretty good, and the limited time that he got on the field, and then got hurt again.
Yep, that's who I thought, because like I said, man, like there was people commenting saying all we cared about was the depth chart when it came to Lyons and Keys being kicked off the team, which is not true. I mean, but that does hurt us. That's first and foremost. That story was horrible, but yeah, it hurts our depth chart. And then we got Zariah Fisher. Like we lose 2 guys, we lose a guy to injury, and then Ohio State just gets that much better. So it's just a factor. But what are your thoughts on that whole thing with Lyons? Jameel Lyons particularly could have been a phenomenal player for us. So
yeah, I mean, it's one of those things like you didn't put. You might have been putting football first, like at one point, but then doing something like that you're accused of, like you're not. First off, you're not thinking about yourself and your life, and you're not. We don't need people on the team that are gonna do that, and assault people or whatever exactly happens. They say it was SA, so yeah. I mean, if that's the case, then it sucks. I mean, he messed his whole life up now. His life is.
Yeah.
I mean, he can turn it around, but it's not with football.
Yeah, you're going from a potential Jameel Lyons, particularly. You're going from a potential
first or second round pick.
Yeah, superstar at Penn State to a first round pick. Because he was 6'5". He was
6'5",
huge.
250 something. Yeah.
To like.
He was just a little thinner. Yeah.
Yeah, to like not only being kicked out of school, but you're possibly going to prison. I mean, that's a long. That's a. God. That's just a horrible thing.
Yep, and then Kayvon Keys. We've heard good things about him the last. Like over spring, like after spring ball, people were saying Kayvon Keys is looking good. He's going to play, and that messed the depth up there as well. But yeah, if they both did that, I would not want them to be on the team. It sucks.
Yeah, and the worst. Obviously, the worst part of it is that this.
If it comes out, it makes Penn State look bad again.
Yeah, and this incident happened. That's horrible to treat someone like that, to do that to someone. That's the decision part is like that's the worst part. Like the decision that was made supposedly. That's just horrible. It's horrendous. But Brett, we'll finish up here with the Dom DeLuca thing here. So we got young Dom DeLuca in a Connor jersey, and then young Connor boys wearing Dom DeLuca. So comes full circle there. Obviously, Dan Connor's a freaking legend at Penn State. He's a coach now, analyst, whatever you want to call him. And
now he can coach linebackers because there's no rules against analysts.
Yeah, exactly.
Coaching. So,
And we all remember Dan Connor. What a great player he was.
Absolutely.
And one of my favorite highlights of him was maybe I can find it here. I've watched Someone put up Penn State Notre Dame from 2007.
Oh, really?
Like the full game, and I, not ashamed to say I've watched it a few times. But
no, I watch whole games too.
Yeah, and like you ever watch Penn State Arizona from '99? You ever watch that game?
No, I haven't.
Definitely look it up. It's a great trip down memory lane. But yeah, one of my favorite highlights is when he sacks Jimmy Clausen like towards the end of the game.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he like the thing about the play was it was towards the end of the game, like coming down to crunch time, and then he gets this huge sack, and it's just peak Dan Connor, man, just peak Dan Connor. But keep talking, Brett. I'm gonna try and find it.
Oh, okay.
Oh shoot.
But yeah, the linebacker Dom DeLuca. If you see him, a picture of him now with a mustache, he put on muscle, dude. He got
absolutely.
thicker. I mean, he doesn't look like Kobe King. Nobody ever is gonna look like Kobe King. That dude's like sculpted from. It's like somebody made him, like in a lab somewhere. Somebody made that guy in a lab, and he plays football. Dom DeLuca, we're gonna need him this year because of what's happened with the linebacker room, and Abdul Carter is still gonna play linebacker. They already said it. But on a week-to-week basis, they're gonna game plan. He'll play linebacker and edge.
He's TJ Watt of Penn State. Like he can go either way, but he's gonna be successful no matter what he does. But I agree that I found the
here's a
clip
case
here,
of a
Brett.
guy from the Midwest going to California.
Yep.
Jimmy Clausen from California coming to the Midwest. Do you see the ball?
This is my favorite Dan Connor clip.
And that's resulted in a sack.
Five-man rush coming, throws underneath, and knocked away from the tight end, Carl.
I think this is
We
it.
talked about a couple guys, similar to Jimmy Clausen, coming from high school, much heralded. And
Brett, I don't know if you have the
guy that
game
came to
pulled
my
up,
mind,
but
being from Ohio, was O.J. Mayo. Here's a case of a guy from the Midwest going to California. Jimmy Clausen from California coming to the Midwest. Do you see a similarity with O.J. Mayo?
Well, Mayo's certainly going to be a superstar in Southern Cal.
I think this is the clip.
He'll be an impact player there, and certainly Tinseltown's going to love him. Clausen needs a little bit more help offensively. The line's going to block better.
That was like peak Beaver Stadium back in the day.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the first whiteouts. Was that the first full stadium whiteout?
I'm not sure. I'm not good at that. I think it was 99.
Yeah,
you're
so-
talking about 2007.
The first student whiteout was hold on, I'll find it. The first student whiteout was in 2002, and then when we really got on the map was 05 against Ohio State. But I think the first full stadium whiteout was 07 against Notre Dame.
Okay. It's possible.
Gosh darn it, man. Why can't I find it right now? But I found it. And Brett, you probably remember it.
You know the game?
Yeah.
The All-American middle linebacker came straight up the gut and drilled him.
Well, here's Dan Connor right here. He's going to come on the blitz all alone.
I remember,
Take a look at him. Slips
I
inside the
think
two
I was
linemen
13
and comes right to the
when
quarterback.
that game happened. I was 13, and I remember I was watching the game, and when Derek Williams returned that punt, I was dancing, and I never dance. I was dancing because I was so excited because it was such a crazy play. He caught it off his shoelaces,
Yeah, I remember that now.
But
Well, I need to be dancing this year. We need some plays to make us dance.
amen to that. But
I'm gonna need that. Cole, Nicky, make me dance. You need it.
I don't know who's going to return punts for us this year, but I think we could, with just the coaching staff in general, I think we could see some big-time special teams plays this year.
So Lustig said they're looking at it's about securing the ball first, which I agree. You don't want to flop. You don't want to fumble the ball. That could ruin a game. So Caden Saunders is in the front right now again, which last year he
That
did
makes
okay. I think he'll be better this year. He's got more experience to it. He'll be a better receiver too.
When the game
Caden
is
Saunders.
Yeah, in the game, it's Anthony Ivy is the returns kicks in the NCAA
Yeah,
football.
he is. Yep.
But
I have Cam Wallace in there too, down the
yeah,
dynasty.
yeah,
he's good.
Cam
He's
Wallace.
a beast in the game.
Cam Wallace is my third year running back in my dynasty, and he's so quick. It's crazy.
When he was a freshman or sophomore on my dynasty, like his rating wasn't as good, but I jumped him for some random guy they had on there. I'm like, screw this guy. I put Cam Wallace in there, and he would get hurt more often because he's a little smaller. But
didn't you say you fell behind in recruiting?
On the first year was tough. I finished like top 30 or 40, and then I finished top 4. I finished 4th my second year, and then I finished 7th my third year, I think. So still pretty good.
Here's the thing about that too is I can't remember why, but for whatever reason I couldn't get a running back, so Cam Wallace was my starter, and then I had to take a transfer corner and make him a running back, and I just picked the highest speed guy, and he turned out to be pretty good. He was a transfer guy. It was but last
I've done that before with a receiver.
Yeah, but last story here, Brett. Pretty big story. Jahan Dotson, for whatever reason, is traded to the Eagles. I have no idea why on God's green earth the Commanders would do this, the Redskins would do this. But they traded him. Kid's a freak. And the Eagles just got that much better. So I don't get it. I don't know why they did it. I think they got some value. Let me see.
Yeah, they got 3 picks. They got like a 5th round pick, and 2 7th round picks or something.
Jahan Dotson and a 5th to the Eagles in exchange for a 2025 3rd and 2 7th. That's a lot of value. But why did they do that though? I don't get it. I don't know why they did that.
I don't know.
He's got to be their number one guy, right?
No, they got Terry McLaurin. He's a beast.
All right, so he's their number one, Terry.
They have Samuel too. So I mean.
Yeah, true. Yeah, okay.
So he was their number 3 receiver, but that's what he's going to be at Philly.
He's so
because
good.
You got AJ Brown and you got Devontae Smith, and then Jahan Dawson's going to fit right in there at 3. I mean, I'm happy for him. He's going to be playing with Saquon Barkley, dude.
I mean, honestly, like I'm a little biased, but like when the Bills got Daquan Hardy, I knew a Bills fan. I said, dude, you don't understand how lucky you are that you got that guy.
Yep.
But
absolutely.
In like the 6th round, and then the Packers got Kobe King in the 7th, but.
And he's doing good there. That's what.
Yeah, he is. He's returning punts for them in the preseason against the Steelers. But
oh, was he?
Yeah, Daquan. Yeah.
You see Parker Washington's return on the Jaguars.
Yeah, he did good.
He's a beast.
He did good. I think who'd they play? I think the Chiefs. He did pretty good against them. But
yeah, he looked good.
Yeah, Jahan Dotson going to the Eagles. Okay, so like you said, they got Devontae, AJ, they got Jahan, they got Saquon, they got Jalen.
They have Paris Campbell. They have like as a backup.
Dude, that's not even fair, man. They got some weapons right now. Jahan Dotson is a freak. He's he's a mix between like Derek Williams and now on the Eagles Deshaun Jackson. I mean, he's a mix between those two.
100%. And the Redskin fans some of them are salty, saying, "Oh, he's not even that good." Once they found out the trade happened, I'm like, you realize you're saying that because when he was hurt, he wasn't playing. Like, what do you? He was hurt for a little bit. When he's in the game, he's good. He's got 11 touchdowns in 2 years.
Dude, he's Derek Williams, man. That's who he is. He's Derek Williams of Penn State. Like he's dynamic. Yeah. And to think that in 2021, man, we had JPJ, we had Jaquan Brisker, who looked like a freaking linebacker at safety. We got Jahan Dotson. We had Parker Washington. I mean, that team was stacked.
Loaded. They were stacked.
And our running game just killed us. It killed us. Yeah. You know? But
because our offensive line wasn't good yet.
And to think that the game that I was at, Indiana, that's when we went, I think, 5-0. And Oregon lost that weekend. I remember. I was in the stadium. We got updates. Yep. Oregon lost, which means we should have moved up. But our run game killed us, man. It was so bad. Devin Ford and freaking can't even remember his name. I just said it. But
well, like I said, it was partially them, but our offensive line wasn't it took time. Like, people were calling for Troutwine's head the first year or two, and now he's killing it recruiting. He's getting 5 and high 4 stars.
Yeah.
He's recruiting better offensive linemen than Ohio State, Michigan.
Dude, I'll tell you what, Phil Troutwine is not a coach that you should even be remotely criticizing, that's for sure. I'll just say that. No,
he's killing it right now. It just took time to get his guys in, and now he's doing a killer job. But yeah.
Yeah. But Brett, is there anything else you want to talk about, man? We covered a ton in the hour and a half we were on here.
I think that was a good we covered all the bases, really. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think there's anything else I have.
Like I said today, dude, we were sending each other, like, I'm like, okay, here's another thing we talk about. Here's another thing we talk about. Here's another thing. Like, got like 10 stories.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we'll have probably 10 more stories by officially pregame week 1 will be next week. Saturday will just be another like buffer episode, but week 1, probably Wednesday, Thursday will be the official week 1 episode. And hopefully Brett can come on. So, Brett, if there's nothing else you want to say, you guys please like, share, subscribe. Trying to get to 500 subscribers on YouTube. We're on Rumble. Trying to figure out locals right now too. But I'll probably have what to watch Saturday and stuff like that. Brett, have some what to watch on Saturday. What you think we should watch. We already talked about it. You have one in mind. But yeah, until Saturday, guys. Sunday. We'll see you then. Have a good night.
We are
Penn State.